To our leading story at this hour, the Social Development Director General Zane Dangor has resigned. He says relations between himself and the Minister of Social Development Bathabile Dlamini have completely broken down. Dangor joins us now on the line. Mr. Dangor, good morning and thank you for joining us. You took up this position of Director General only in November last year, having been the Minister's special advisor since 2010. What has made you resign?
Thank you. It's a pity that these things break via social media. I resigned as a result of, as you suggested in your lead-in, breakdown in relations as a result of disagreements on management of the processes leading up to April 1st. The major disagreements were really on SASSA's obligations in relation to the Constitutional Court. We had significant differences on what our responsibilities were in terms of management of the legal issues in relation to the Constitutional Court. That's essentially what led to the breakdown.
Could you expand on that? Does it have to do with the withdrawal of the papers initially that had been filed by the Department of Social Development? Because the statement that came out suggested that it was done without the involvement of the minister.
I think that's played a part of it. I think the general approach to submitting documents to the Constitutional Court, even before this week. Yeah.
So just your position then, help us understand your position that led to the differences. Was it your feeling that the department needed to go this way, to file these papers and regularize what it intends to do, which is essentially to extend a contract that was found to have been unlawful?
I think that my position was that we needed to adhere to the advice we were given in terms of if we're going to go the route of using CPS, we needed to ensure that we filed with the Constitutional Court in advance. And so that was essentially my position.
And is this a view that the minister opposed? Because we are seeing now a confirmation from the department that they've gone ahead and reached an agreement with CPS without, of course, that constitutional court process having played out.
Yeah. Look, I'm glad that there's been an agreement, because the most important thing is that at this stage is that this grant gets paid on the 1st of April. And I'm glad that, I haven't had the details of it, but I'm really glad that they've reached an agreement that will ensure that what I and some others were really concerned about is that we needed to do it in such a way that it conforms with the principles of legality.
Was this coming for some time, Mr. Dangor, your resignation, or, was this matter of the 1st of April deadline the stroke that broke the camel's back, so to speak, or were there other issues that you were dealing with silently over the past few months?
No, I think the only disagreement we've really been having is on the processes around this the payment on the 1st of April. And it sort of reached a peak in the last week. But we've been, we've not always been on the same page on this issue since we started talking about what needed to be done, when this contract comes to an end, and the urgency of the grant payments on the 1st of April. So we've been engaging, but this week was essentially this.
Take us into your confidence then and give us your reflection. Who dropped the ball here, Mr. Dangor? Because this Constitutional Court decision came in 2014. The department has had close on 3 years to get this right. Who dropped the ball?
Look, as I said last week in a I think it was a station, it's really unfortunate that we did not come to a solution, or SASSA itself didn't come to a solution that excluded CPS much earlier, because that would have, just obviated the fact that we didn't have any legal noose around our neck as we pay the grants. So, in terms of who dropped the ball, I must say that it's the explanation for that is probably with the previous leadership in SASSA working with on quite an elaborate takeover process, but it just took too long. I think also the botched, not botched, but the fact that there was a tender and nobody was compliant with that tender also contributed to that process. So it's a combination of issues. It's not one individual. It's a series of events. The tender that wasn't awarded because people didn't come forward.
Do you personally take any responsibility for it? You were, of course, the minister's special advisor and later on Director General is from November last year.
Look, as a special advisor, I've essentially on this issue only got involved last year, August, when after assurances from people that we are on track, and we started to find, are we really on track? And when we found out that actually the only solution on offer was that, we still have a few years off from making an in-house arrangement, and therefore we needed to extend to SASSA. That's when myself and the other advisor got involved, and essentially started talking to a whole range of stakeholders from National Treasury and others to find a solution that would be compliant with the law. That means exclude CPS. And we were really just focused on what happens on the 1st of April because we were just concerned that any solution, including CPS, would have legal issues. But, so we, as an advisor, we generally did not intervene in the admin issues. But we really needed to intervene in that because the risks were quite significant. And as taking over as DG, the same trajectory is how do we make sure that we do this in a way that's compliant with the law and ensuring that grants are paid on the 1st of April.
So how much responsibility then should Minister Bathabile Dlamini take? You've been working very closely with her. You should know what decisions she took and what decisions she failed to take.
I would respectfully ask you to ask the minister that herself. I can't talk for her.
Your view?
Really, can I really not comment on that now?
Just two more questions.
Sure.
Talk to me about the meeting that took place on Thursday with the presidency, not necessarily with the president. You were summoned, and it appears in very dramatic fashion, and you had to leave Parliament. What transpired at that meeting? How much pressure were you under from the presidency?
There was no pressure. There was no meeting with the presidency. I was in the portfolio committee meeting. The spokesperson from the presidency phoned, and I excused myself to the chair of the portfolio committee and said, look, I've got to take a call from the presidency. And she must have misheard me, and she said, he's been summoned by the president, and the media ran out and got me outside. I took the call and came back into the room. There was no meeting with the president or the presidency whatsoever.
All right, just a final one. On a personal level, how difficult has this period been for you? You are, of course, someone with a background in issues of social justice from the non-governmental organization sector and the work that you used to do in that sector. How difficult has it been, and what next for you?
It's been very painful. In terms of what's next, I don't know. I'll see what happens over the next few months. I haven't planned anything. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That is Zane Dangor, who's just resigned as the Social Development Director General. Barely about 4 or 5 months, really, after being appointed. He was, of course, appointed and confirmed in November 2016. So that is the breaking news here on eNCA.